Well, this is the Chanukah. All right, so you take the safe from the show.
Yeah, there's a safe here.
There should be a Chanukah in the show.
There is.
Maybe it's the same. There theory. Really streets.
Okay, let's get straight into it. Chanukah on Chanukah couldn't be a bigger pleasure than learning Hilchos Chanukah on Chanukah. So we did last week. We did Siman Tafresh and Tafresh Ayin Aleph, and now we're going into Siman Tafresh Ayin Beis. It's a very sweet Siman. Teda, Arevus, sweet. It's sweet to learn Hilchos Chanukah on Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol midvarim. You're not allowed to light the candle before Shkia. When do you light it? The Gemara says Mishit Shokacham. Shulchan says him Soif Shkia. And can't do it earlier or later. You can do from plug. Plug is an hour and a quarter before Shkia. I mean, an hour and a quarter means a halacha hour and a quarter. I think today plug is 3:30, 3:31. Huh? 3:30 or 3:31? Okay, 3:30. Okay. Continue. But they has to put enough oil for the zman which is about a half hour of oil, as we'll say in the next scene. Let's learn a little bit of the Mishnah Brura. Sag the Mishnah Brura. What does it mean Seif Shkiyasa? And it says because then once the Seisek Kechavim, the people, it's mamish dark, and the glow of the menorah shines very strong, and the Oivrim Vishavim, the passerby, see the menorah.
The Oivrim Vishavim is Jews?
I don't know, maybe Jews, maybe Goyim. He didn't say. He didn't say. Also, Erev Shabbos, Magdimit. Erev Shabbos, we do it earlier. Come on, some fresh ayin test. Mine machabes some kedas am tur besiat the sphere of the masham gemar des man lokas nekan. Umishit the shakar hamam. I know. I have the mix of I have this. We're in the first.
I will listen to
That's fine. So we're in the middle of Sivkot Nala. Hine machabes das tur besiat the sphere of the masham gemar des man lokas neid. Umishakar hamam soivshkia. And that he did that the Machabes said Nishat shakar hamam. Which is so fashkia. Wenn es sich hart der schön in der Sphäre like man sagt mal alt viele Schnee, wo berg reva sho mikoidem, which is a quarter of an hour before that. Okay, just we spoke about it lately a few times, but I just as we're learning it now in the Mishnah Berurah, just make it clear what we're talking about. We're going to a time of machlokes what shkia means. The Goinim say Shkia means the sun sets, that's Shkia. What says Sekechavim? Says Sekechavim is as much from you have to run down Hara Carmel, travel quickly in the mikveh, come out, and put on the spodek, and that's what's it called. How long is that? It could be 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 42 minutes, 50 minutes. It really, as we spoke about the other day, it's really a shaila of how far the sun goes under the horizon before you could notice the Kechavim Beinani. Whatever, how many degrees under the horizon it goes? 6, 6.5, 7, 8. That's the different zmanim that we're talking about. Okay, so that's one shita, and that's the shita that the Gro and the Alter Rebbe accepted lahalocha.
The Gro and the Alter Rebbe and that Indian, they
exactly. Which is a very big deal, because up to then, most Yidden did like the Rabbeinu Tam, which is Ashkenaz Jews. Most of them did like the Rabbeinu Tam. The Rabbeinu Tam has a totally different mahalach. The sun sets, and then there's 4 meal, as long as it takes to walk 4 meal, and then there is Shkia, and then which is Seisek Echad. Now the 3/4 of an hour, which is later 3/4 of a meal, or whatever, something like that. 3/4 of a meal, depending how long it takes to walk a meal. 18 minutes, 20 minutes, 22 minutes, 24 minutes. So there's the called shkia shnia. So there's shkia, and then there is this tchila shkia, and then there is soif shkia. But before soif shkia, there is a shkia shnia, which is a quarter of an hour before. So if we should say lamazagan, roundabout, it's if we should say the Benotam is what people call today 72 minutes. Shkia Rishina is the first minute. After 57 minutes is Shkia Shnia, and then 72 minutes is Tzeisa Kechavim. So so within the Rabbeinu Tam Shita, there's two shitas of how you go. Or if you say
shows money, so that 72 may be adjusted also depending on the time.
No, but that's not Lapoil the way people read today. They don't do the Rabbeinu Tam. I don't know.
They do Rabbeinu Tam plus Charles money. So 70 an hour could be 70 minutes or 54 minutes.
People do.
No, it doesn't do shows money.
Yeah.
When it says how long it takes you to walk, or shows money. In the summer, it takes longer to walk. In the summer, it's faster to walk.
I can't explain.
However, no, it's not shows money. There's other issues. It's not shows money. But we'll get to that issue because we're learning the Gemara. We're heading towards that Gemara. As soon as we finish the Gemara about Chanukah, we're getting back to the Gemara in Erev Shabbos. As soon as we finish that, we're going to fall into to exactly this sugya. So we're heading towards there. Bottom line is, so the Mishnah Berurah says that there's a machlokes. What if we hold like a Benatam? Which shkia when we're saying shtoka chama? One holds we're talking about shkia shnia, which is a quarter of an hour before Tzeisa Kechavim, and the other one is Tzeisa Kechavim. Okay. Now there's a lot of problems that go in here in the Bir Alocha. He says it's like almost you're caught in a rock in a hard place. If you hold like the Rambam, that Lo Machin Lo Magdim, and probably the Rambam holds Shkia Sachama means when it's sunsets, and then you have a half hour. It's almost impossible to do like all the shittas. So
let's let the camera.
It is too late, too early.
Exactly. You're caught between a rock and a hard place. The sun sets, according to the Rambam, if we should say, and it's mashma taka, the Rambam holds that Shkia means Shkia Sachama. You have to lie right that minute, and then you have 30 minutes. According to the Rabbeinu Tam, you have to start a few minutes after the half hour is over, or maybe even more than that.
He did too early.
Yeah. So therefore, he holds the bottom line is along the halacha. He holds that the loy ma'achim magdimin doesn't mean mamish. At least the loy magdimin. No, he doesn't talk about loy ma'achim. It doesn't mean it's not ironclad. So it means basically he wants to say, as we're going to say soon, even if you bederach klal you go like Rabbeinu Tam, it's kedai over here, and even though. So it's kedai over here to light a little earlier, and also because Maidav goes into the whole problem. When you get down Maidav, so if you're going to light the menorah when it's already a mitzvah to daven Maidav, it's very complicated. Yeshayim that you should daven Maidav first because it's todir and it's also mitzvah deraisa. On the other hand, you're playing with fire. It's a mitzvah yeveres, right? Because you're way past the time already by now. So you're playing with fire. Every minute you might lose the mitzvah if we hold that there's lemachin and lemagdimin. Right. So therefore, the bottom line is that even those that usually go with Rabbeinu Tam should daven mincha, should light the menorah before Tzeisa Kechavim, because then there's anyway no shayla daven ma'ariv. What do you mean daven ma'ariv? I can't daven ma'ariv. Unless you're a person that davens bechlal ma'ariv before Tzeisa Kechavim.
9:30.
No, yeah, we don't have the problem, but there is the vel.
We do Rabbeinu Tam.
No, not because of Rabbeinu Tam. Because the velt is makel to daven ma'ariv before the zman. There are people that are very makpid, Lubavitch mechlolam, never to daven ma'ariv before Tzeisa Kechavim. So even if it means to daven b'yechid, the Tzemach Tzedek says in the beginning of what's called the Gemara, I think also holds that way. So this is I'm giving a little bagdama, and now let's read it inside. Let's start again. Once it says you could see very clearly any light coming out of a window or coming in the side of the door. Auch im Shabbos Magdim Kiloman zum Tafel scheint das. Wenn man Shabbos aus dem Ketas, natürlich wird es für der Mascha geworden, das man lockes nein, Mishloach Hama, Soifschke. Wenn es ist harbe schon in Svila Kwas kommt. Chilutke ist ja. Which is Berech Reva Shakoidem. I'm be a loch Shabian Lois Manoshim, Hanogim Spal Maide Bisman and the Hana Achat Sesek Kechavim. There are people that are noig like Chabad that will never daven Maide before Sesek Kechavim. So noch and Line came Lachatchil Lahadli Koidem Maide. That you should always do that loka before the Zman of Maide. And Vechin Kosu B'Moide Ksiv Vechin Noga Gro to daven Minche. And the Gro, because Gro was also makbet to daven Maide by Sesek Kechavim, not earlier. And he would do the light the menorah earlier. That means it's not a pella because Noga Gro. I don't know, like the Gro anyway held that Shkia is the Shkia Sacham. It didn't hold of the Rebbeinu Tam, so it's not a pella that Noga Gro. Och in Yatel Bo Kolkach Shem and Shiad Chatzi Shach and Sesek Kechavim. Im Lo Yidlik Mikoidim V'Giz Man Sesek Kechavim. If now he didn't like the menorah, now it's Sesek Kechavim. What do you do now? Yagdim L'Spal Ma'id to Todd V'Gam Yesh B'Mitzvah Kriyish Madu Deiraisa. Da fila noigim lahadlik achat filas arbis. For those that have a minute, whatever, that's their minute lapal. Min anochem shechin okapan mashana v'techad neiris kodem arbis kadei shemuchen take up achat filas arbis lahadlik dim yas akal achat filas arbis v'vada yesh lochu sheyavet ikr zmana d'lachosei hu chatzi shah medin the gemara. The whole chatzi shah. You sneeze. Mincha ma'ariv takes 15 minutes to daven.
Right.
And then you're going to shul, you're coming back. Chatzi shah, you already lost. You get a mitzvah. So therefore, even if their minig is to daven ma'ariv and then to light the menorah, make sure that the menorah is the oil, everything, the wick, everything is ready. Let's try to do a little piece in the Bir Alocha. The second piece. Hey, let's do the first one. Lema acherin. Afiza tzarech lagdil take it achat sesek kechavim. Vim kein tzarech mishenoi tamel espal arvis bezman and achat sesek kechavim ech yasa. So people that are noig to daven ma'ariv right after Sesek Chavim, what are you going to do? Are you going to do first ma'ariv, or are you going to do first? Again, we already know he holds that everyone should light, even if you hold like the Rebbeinu Tam. Don't wait for Sesek Chavim to light your menorah. Do it earlier. But see, the Bir Alochas is going through the whole thing. In a litchis tfilas arvis mishum zevade ene kedai, the yesh b'mitzvahs krish mishadei v'gam toder koidem shum kosav acharonim. It's a himoglishrei. What do you do? Okay, need a lead. The issue is because bevadim in anochem sheyadlik koidem ma'ariv. He should light before ma'ariv. They should light before ma'ariv. What he means before the zman of ma'ariv. Echad habrish anasir lachat chilei k'meshevi agro. Void af aturit kosav shoivshkiya nechich b'samuch. The gamos svirla di yochel lahagd. The Tur said soivshkiya, which means soivshkiya means seisek yechavim. And he said, but really, I'm going to prove later that he didn't really mean you can't be makdim a few minutes. Even the Torah that says that you have to light up at Tzesek Kechavim. If you light it 15 minutes before Tzesek Kechavim, is eichet kosher. Is eichet good. That's a pshat. Loy makdimin is also b'chlal zeh. Befratim nizbe v'das eram mashkotzim shlemadlikim mishkiya daheina mamish mazman sheneskash Hashemas meineinu. Which is Shitza Goinim, Vidush Adai to the Mitzvah Sadloko Rakhatzi Shom Hat Yosef. Achech Mavaz Azman Shuv Lo Yadlikoid. In Kain Im Yadlik B'Shasese Kechavim Ein Yitzak Klal Mitzvah Sadloko Ladas Aramba V'Im Dem Shitosa B'Zman Shkia. If you put two and two together, Shkia is as soon as the sun sets, and you only have a half hour Lamachrim Lamagdinim. So if you're going to do like the tour, you're going to leave B'Tzesek Kechavim, which is 72 minutes after Shkia. You're way after the Zman. Right. You're way after the Zman. But that's not lechatchila what you should do. Okay, needed the toiv nochem lechatchila lahad lekoida ma'ariv. He doesn't say how much koida ma'ariv, but probably he means to say within the Zman, even if you don't hold exactly like the goinim, but do it within that half hour. And you did it a little earlier because the Torah says that the tchilas mana is seisek kechavim, and you're doing it about half hour earlier. When he said loy ma'achrim loy magdimin, he didn't mean loy magdimin. But if you did it a half hour earlier, zeichet kosher loy the Torah. That's what he wants to say. You're going to gain two things. Basically, what he's saying is, Even if you all like that, Rabbeinu Tam, that really this man that like Shulchan Aruch says, "Emad likin Chanukah koydim shekachem elam soiv shkiyosei." And shkoiv kiyosei means tzeisek yechavim again, which simplified means 72 minutes after sunset. But if you're going to do it then, 72 minutes after sunset, you have two problems. One is whether you can do first Maidav or at Lokas Native. Also, according to the Rambam, you already missed this man. So light the menorah earlier. How much earlier? Probably he means within that half hour that they're going.
42 and 72 minutes after Shkia?
No, do it right by Shkia. Do it 20 minutes after Shkia. Do it somewhere that time.
I thought we just said a half hour before Seis, which would be 42 minutes after Shkia.
We just said that the Tur holds that the Zman to light is Betzesek
Which is 72 minutes after Shkia.
after Shkia. And he says, don't wait for 72 minutes.
Do
Why?
it a half hour before.
Right.
Which I'm just saying is 42 minutes after Shkia. 42 and 37.
He didn't say a half hour before. He said, do it before.
Oh, okay.
He didn't say a half hour before. He said, do it before.
All right.
And the half hour is there's two problems. He says, if you're going to wait for it, number one, now you clash Maidav and you're clashing Maidav and Chanukah. Number two, according to the Rambam, there's a svara to say that you have to light mamash b'shkia and a half hour later you're already not doing the mitzvah. So mishum zeh, better to. He's just wants to say for Lubavitch it's not a shaila. Shkia means when the sun sets. No shaila. Most Yidden today are
So
accepting.
automatically, according to the law, you're going to end up lighting before Myra.
Well, yeah, there's no shaila. There's no questions, no shaila. Sun sets, you light the menorah. Yeah,
They go down my later.
And,
yeah, versteht sich.
and the
But he's saying even if you hold like the Rabbeinu Tam, and within the Rabbeinu Tam you hold that's Shoiv Shkiyasa, which means Tzeisek Echavim, which is 72 minutes after Shkia. But if you're going to wait till then, number one, according to the Rambam, you already lost your mitzvah. Number two, by now you have already a clash between Maidav and Menorah. So you know what? What's going to be? How terrible are you going to be that you did it earlier? Because do it 40 minutes earlier, do 15 minutes earlier. He said he meant, and I add to it. He meant to say later. He's going to say yochel lahagdim meplaga mincha lamayla. That's when you're pressed. You have a plane to catch. So, but otherwise, don't be makdim to plaga mincha. But if you want to be makdim. Even the Shulchan Aruch and the Tur will say if you mark them a little bit, nish gefährlich. And this way you did good for the Rambam, and you also chapped the line that you never had the clash between the Menorah and Maidav.
since we mentioned the Rambam, what does Sparta do? So that's not so. I mean, what is the common Spartan minhag about what we're talking about?
I like when I come from work, it's safe for me.
All right, so that's your personal halacha, but in general,
What most started.
I know that's what I'm saying.
When I used to go to the Sephardic shul, after they used to daven Mariv, and before Alenu, they light the menorah.
All right, but that's the shul.
Yeah, but most people was
between
most people had kavana for them. I'm telling you,
Okay.
that's why they did it.
After plug ready.
Right, but that's a separate issue. But the shaila is,
Come home and
I think most of them are noyeg at the goinim, but I'm not sure. We could look it up. Like I said, we're going to get to the sugi anyway. So why? Okay. Bottom line. So this is what we have. I don't understand Bachal Hishayla. Like I'm just a balabata shaswara. The Geis has a big problem that when you get say sekachavim, you have a clash. What should I do? The menorah or should I do Ma'ariv? Well, I would say like this. If you ask me a shay, Chachamim probably thought of the same problem. No, Chachamim said you have to light for, especially if you say that they said you have to light in the beginning of the half hour. Yeah, Lamazogin, if we say that pshat. So obviously they knew that you don't know how you're going to daven. Might have takes 15 minutes to daven. So yeah, how are you going to light the menorah and have 15?
Yes.
No, I'm saying Stam. He's trying
to get everybody.
He's trying to get everybody, but he's just bringing Akasha. He starts off over here saying,
if you look around,
no, but I'm saying, but just in the Gemara, you're asking a shayla. What are you supposed to do? If you say that this man is Tesek Echavim, how are you allowed to light the menorah before Ma'ariv? It's Todev Shena Todev. Todev Koidem, and the rice is Koidem. I don't understand. Chachamim also knew the rules of Todev.
They don't matter for
But Lloyd the Tzad, I'm saying Lloyd the Tur. He had a problem in the Tur. He had a Shiloh. You hold that the Zman Adloka is, I have a clash. Which one am I supposed to do first? So I would say, no, there's no clash. Chachamim knew the rules of Todir. So if the Rabbanon said that you should light right away the menorah, obviously they meant you should light the menorah first. The rules of Todir, but Pesumanis is more important. Vehem Amru.
Why they wait until today?
Not true that it's Chamachloikis Rebbe Chachamim. Lo nifsek lo kemar v'lo kemar.
Right.
Chachamim hold the dafke v'tzeisek Chachamim.
It's the
This is nicht pashut. And if you daven today mincha already after plag, it's also for you to kula the sasere adod. Nicht pashut. So I would say balabatish svara. I would say Chachamim obviously meant that you should do the menorah before Maida. But okay, Mishabura didn't ask me. Okay, weiter.
You have a half hour to daven. So maybe the Chum held you daven Marv and then you light after.
Yeah, but it takes you 15 minutes.
Just a minute.
Yeah, but if we should say
A little travel time.
the frat, yesterday I said that there's 4 shittas. And one shitta is, and that's more the shit that sounds right, that the 2 tiruts and Gemara are both la'aloch. You have to have 30 minutes of oil, and within the 30 minutes of shitta shakacham and tichel regel nashuk.
And the tour held that way?
It sounds that way because he says next if I'll show you soon how
Say
bazoi
so
balabat shesvara. That's why I'm saying I don't see why I still like his maskona because
get everybody.
he get everyone, but within the tour he makes it sound like so problematic. I don't know. Okay, weiter.
So nobody could have menorah according to everybody.
No,
There's always going to be either two.
no. He says no. The chiddush of the Mishnah Berurah is that today everyone could do like Lubavitchers with v'shkiya sacham. Because because you're days. Because even the day that says really you're supposed to do it, but it's like a chachamim. But if you did it earlier and you put shemen, maspik, yoyse shemen.
50 minutes here for it.
Right. You should probably put more. If you hold tackle ben, you should put more than 50 minutes of shemen. Ahmad really didn't hold it for a minute now. So they put an extra 20 minutes. I'm not even sure if it's for Rabbeinu Tam. But to some of the be'emes is no machmer like the Rabbeinu Tam, they should probably put. Yeah. It's not hard to put an hour and a half of oil. I mean,
You just have to sit there for an hour.
no, it's so bad. Then they can machen von alles. Okay.
The menorah that they last used to light in 770. Number one, it wasn't always candles.
Yeah, but that because the poskim do say that there's an Indian in the shul dafka to have big candles.
Oh.
No, the takas. The poskim say there's an Indian in the shul dafka big candles.
And that was
It's a persumanissa.
330.
There's even the regular menorah in the house. They're in the next simon. There's a few rishonim that say that there's a better to have if you're going to use shaiva candles that are big. It's persumanissa, and that's better than shemen zayis. We don't go that way. We paskin that shemen zayis is better because it's clear, and also it's doimet to the nest that happened in the Beis Hamikdash.
With shemen, actually.
Because the nest happened with shemen zayis, but lepoil in the shul, because the shul is more than your persumanissa. It's a minig that's not around the Gemara. The shul is more in your persumanissa, so the minig is all toida to use dafke and neiros shal shaiva. In the house, the minig poshut by most Yidden is to use. I mean, people that are Nebuch Americana Yidden that are buying for 49 cents in Walmart candles are not buying Shiva candles. I don't know if there's any one person. Did you find one person that's makbid in his house to buy Neiris Shal Shai?
Father uses the shamas of Shabbat.
Oh, that's something else. That's minig Chabad.
We have.
Shiva Shal Shamas is minig Chabad, but only for the. Only the pashtus. Okay, we'll talk soon. Why the reason?
But thank God they're lighting candles.
So what's different?
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining.
10 minutes.
I'm not complaining. I'm not
The
complaining.
box
I'm
of
not
the
complaining.
candles, those are not Shava?
No.
So
The paraffin.
what's
The
the
paraffin.
statement on the box of candles that they're Shava, not
It says in big words,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't say, you see it by the price. If it's
So what's-
59 cents,
what's different?
it's not Shiva.
559 is
$5.59 maybe.
Candles, what are they made of?
It makes
Shava, what's the alternative? What is
Shiva is made from beeswax,
and the other candles
and the
are
other
made
ones
from
are
what?
paraffin, which is made from petroleum.
Oh,
It's a totally different item.
all right.
Much cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's much cheaper. Yeah. Shimu Tarud. Let's go fast. Mishnah Berurah. Sorry, verkappt ein bisschen. Shimu Torud. If a person is Torud and he knows he's not going to have later a chance to light menorah, he should do it for Plag HaMincha. No, I'm not going in the Bimla Magdim because it's way too long. I already spoke about Ped, the whole thing really, that it's in there. Just too long. Back in the Mishnah Berurah, the person has started, he's not going to have a chance later. So you should light me plug, short of vehicle, you can make the bracha, but you have to make sure to look at Shazmanis. So right now, Shkia is at about 4:30, and the plug is 3:30, which is 60 minutes. It's 60 minutes, maybe 58 minutes, 59 minutes. Why? Because the day is shorter. So an hour and a quarter is 59 minutes. You look now on the calendar today.
It's 4:28.
It's 4:28, right? And plug today was, I think, 3:30 or 3:31. So you have basically 57, 58 minutes, and that's called a Shoah B'Revi. It's called an hour and a quarter because it's Shoah Zmanius. Okay, weiter. Shittim B'Shem and Dimlo Yiduk B'Layla like Pesum Nisa. Lo Nasu B'Shem Rakish Yakatzei Dan Kanal B'Kol Yom Yagd Shem Yadlik. If a person lit from Plag HaMincha, it lit 3:30. You have to put enough oil that it's going to light a half hour into the night. What does a half hour into the night mean? Depends. If you all like to go anyway, you all like a minute time. Bottom line is you have
So
to.
it could be from 3:30 till 72 minutes after Shkia, which is 4:30, which would be sometime
About
about 6:30.
Right.
So you'd
right.
need like 3 hours.
3 hours of oil.
One way or another.
Right,
Whether
you need-
oil, candles, 3 hours.
Right. Candles would have to be large candles. There are Shabbos candles
Like
that are
Shabbos candles.
right. The box says 3 hours, 4
3
hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. They sell. So yeah, you'd have such candles. Weiter. Sid base. Let's read it quickly because Babbitt's we learned it already. Shachach hezev lahizlikim shkis kama. Look at Hamadlik ashetech larag mashuk. Shume chatzi shah. So zam oibrim misham v'ikip nisa. If he didn't do it right by shkis kama, he could do it as long as there isn't tich larag mashuk, which is about a half hour. Hilchos, therefore, it's not pretty much in Shulchan Aruch that it's not like a suffix if you need a half shemek kazashir. It's sorry, and Hilchos. The first and the second point of the Gemara, which is Dilo Yadlik Mani Inam Elishura, is not like he doesn't bring it as an Inam in Shulchan Aruch. He brings that as a Hilchos. One leads us to the other. If you put extra oil, he could put it out. And you could use this oil. We do it inside, then who cares? Then you don't have to do it before. It's toiv to be nizir also b'zman hazeh. This is all a chatchila. The next day. Well, that's okay, let's go to the Mishnah Berurah.
Which is not a Shia.
Right, not like Seisan. Very good. Like the Mishnah Berurah,
It's a show we like in the day.
right, and the shul we light in the day. Again,
It's a minhag.
right, the shul is very, very
But
different.
at night, for some
No, but we
reason,
do it-
and we don't light by day even without a bracha. It's just interesting. Unlike you just said, the
We talk about the shul. But then this is the shul. They also the shul tries to do it after Plag HaMincha. There's those that know that the shul should do it after Plag HaMincha. At least there's a certain that's within the Zman that's we can talk about it. Sif Beis. Mishnah
I
Berurah.
remember one Chanukah, yes, what over there, Friday, this big bucket for oil. It went from Friday night to Motzei Shabbos.
Yeah, wow.
I needed to shut it off Motzei Shabbos to read.
So Demis is Azoy. Let's learn about it inside. We'll talk about it. Mashma the midlik zmama kodem shkiyas achama. It's a klin shemesh kol kach raka shetech leregel manashuk. Ach kol zo dilan talmud sheheker leibim misham. Avleide the heker rak lebem eisel oil boy share hayadua. It's mashma. What happens if, according to Shulchan Aruch, a person lights it by his window or by the door, and he didn't do it by shkiyah. He did it 15 minutes later. Now 15 minutes of oil is good enough. But here you have a chumrah because we're saying that eaten at the heker is lamdei base, so you still need to have the shear of oil of a half hour. Interesting turnaround. A shear, he says like this: Abizman in the tzarech l'shir hazeh. When noisam Hashem and harbe sheyad l'yosef, ein by mishum mitzvah. Aber b'nei shashav yeshidur kshein arukis. There's taka hidur when you have because it looks nice. Doesn't explain why. Maybe because then it doesn't look like it's done the covered on mitzvah. Maybe Stami needs the candles for the house. If he didn't have enough candles on the third night of Hanukkah, fourth, sixth night of Hanukkah, and then he got more candles, he should light them more, but he shouldn't make a bracha. We spoke about it very much before Hanukkah and the Pilpul on the Monday and the Tuesday night. We spoke about it then. The Rebbe says, some say if he thought he doesn't have more candles, and then his neighbor gave him more candles, then he should make a bracha. And the Rebbe said it's totally if the Mahadrin is on the Gavra and the Cheftza. If it's a Tesefis in the okay, what do you want to say?
Maybe it's just an observation that in the base of Mikdash, the menorah only had oil, not nerus, not candle.
Right.
So for pursuing Nisa, we're willing to light with something that was not done in the Mikdash altogether, just to have to publicize miracle with light.
Right. Right. Not everyone. Not all.
According to that, you could have. I mean, we had the Sunday show. We talked about using electric or battery,
Right.
But according to the idea of pursuing Nisa, the battery or the electric would be no worse than the candle because it's not oil.
No, it's worse. It's worse because I only touched on Sunday on one aspect, which is that the electric that's plugged in has a chesed and there's no shear in the shemen. But a battery does have the shear. If you test it and you see that it has enough energy to give you whatever 5 hours of light, then they have the shear. But there's other problems. Like today, a lot of those things are LED bulbs. So there's no psila. It's not a psila. It's not a nair with a psila. So you could say the Chazal didn't care, but you could say Chazal did care. I just said the other day two things. I said that the battery is better than the plugged-in. And then my mother, who's the big Miftzim lady in Crown Heights, called her brother, who is a Choshev Rav in Milano, and he said, you know what? All these places that they go in the hospitals and nursing homes, they don't want to let you light candles.
They don't let you light with fire.
Right.
You're a chol in the
hospital. So he said that you could light. If it's a battery, you can make a bracha. I wouldn't go so far to say if it's a battery, make a bracha. I would say it's better. If Nebuch, a person is in the base of the fuah, and he has no choice, and they're not going to let him use a menorah to light candles, and he has a choice, a shtetzcha battery is better. But I wouldn't say to make a bracha. My uncle said to make a bracha. All of a sudden, my mother went and bought a few hundred of this, and she said, and then now you can make a bracha. So it could be also my uncle didn't mean it like, he meant it like for the nursing homes, for those people that Nevach, they can't make it because otherwise they're doing the mitzvah without a bracha to be makel, because Takazoi has a certain milah. But
be careful when you answer.
Right. Okay, continue. One more thing that's negay very strong. If you put 5 hours of oil, but you only makts it for half hour, so you could blow it out and then use the oil. I spoke about those poskim on Sunday. There are poskim that hold that they have an interesting chumrah. They say that if you say there's a machlokes between the two members, and one says there has to be the shear of shemen of a half hour, the other one doesn't give you a shear. So what's the shear? Maybe 1 minute of oil, and maybe if you put in 10 hours of oil, all 10 hours is koyd the shem vein I said from this a kula that if a Lubavitcher, there's no to sit a half hour in the candles, but he lit the candles and he has to do something emergency right now, and he wants to light. He wants to sit by the candles later. So Pashat after half hour, this nishkanetis Chanukah, it's tam nedis. If you hold like the Bach, so even 10 hours later, if the Chatfila you put this shemen, even 10 hours later, but this comes out of Chumrah. What's the Chumrah that comes out from this? You have to have another candle. You're supposed to have another candle, which we call a shamish. Why? For Rashi says it's a heker. You should know that the candles are really near Chanukah. And the other place can say because if you might use a little bit of light, so if you're going to use this, you're going to use light from the shamish. That's why shamish is higher, so you can use that light. Whatever the reason is why we have another candle, but you have to have another
The
candle.
menorah and the mikdash.
1 second. So you have to hear the word. So if you're going to say like the Bach, that if you put 10 hours of olive oil, all 10 hours is kodesh haim. All 10 hours is kodesh haim. You need to have a shamash for 10 hours. You need a shamash for 10 hours. Helps the Eibush. Always, like I said Sunday, I bought glasses. I'm a chai. I can put in oil for lights for 10 hours. More. Sometimes I get up in the morning and the menorah is still lighting. I'm a chai. So the thing is,
What happened after the Shabbos?
what happens if the Shabbos goes out?
2 hours.
Helps the Eibush that this year I found in the store big candles as alche. It was not $1.50 a candle. I was mamish on the which should cost
And
$5.
it's there for 4 hours.
More. They had two sizes. One I think is 6-7 hours, and one is 12 hours. One was $1.50 and one was $2.25.
In the base mikdash.
Yeah. So you buy those. So if you're going to have candles that you're going to put oil that for 10 hours, you should try. If you're having in mind the koydeshim, if you make a tanai, I don't want to make the tanai. So someone said that he says it's better to make a tanai.
Some people would have water.
But if you want to put
oil itself,
right.
They
So yeah, but if you want to have that it should be kodesh shame, then you have to put a shamish. If you don't care, especially if you make a tanai, and like after Chanukah, there's also a problem. If you don't make a tanai and you say kodesh shame, so there's a shita that you have to now make a madura and burn it. So
use it for Pesach.
Oh, I have no problem. I'm going to use it for Pesach. I make a little mess. I like to make a mess. I play around with fire. So I take a pan and I put in the oil and the psilas, and then I burn it and I burn it until I make a big mess. Who cares? It's not, it's not a big deal. But so we're going to say that you should try to make it night that it doesn't become muktzah. But then if you made that tonight, then obviously it's not going to be kodesh shame after a half hour. If you want it should be kodesh shame after a half hour, you have to have two things. You have to get yourself a big shamish, and you have to have in mind that according to the poskim that it's muktzah, and therefore you have to oisel medura and you have to burn it. So it's nicht helfen that I saw it was left for the whole half hour. But you had in mind that kodesh shame, right? So you have to have a big shamish and you have to burn the oil.
The base mikdash, the menorah did not have a shamas, did it?
No, we learn about it tomorrow in the Gemara. They lit it in their mener.
And the menorah in the mikdash, you could use the light, or it was usher to use the light.
To use which light?
The light from the menorah in the base mikdash.
Oh, also for
So
that we just learned in the
So there should
Tosfos.
be a shamas just as. So our menorah for Chanukah has a shamas. The menorah in the mikdash doesn't have an extra one as a shamas. So
No one used it because no one was sitting there. No one sat in the kodesh with a newspaper. And
there
was no couch.
There was no chashash that someone,
No,
a Kohen
exactly.
in the mikdash would
Impossible.
buy the menorah and utilize the light.
No,
But
impossible.
by us in the house, there's
Shia,
no
right.
chashash.
Right.
I'm going to a party and I want to not to left.
Yeah.
Or stuff like
Well,
that.
the concept of menorah
So I can use it the next night.
Yeah, for sure. You see, really, what you're doing is you have in mind that it's a half hour or whatever. Whatever. You have in mind, however much zman.
Right.
And then you put out what's it called?
And then
So there was no kedusha in it. And if it was kedusha, who cares?
Right, use it for
So use it for next. You use it for the Hanukkah. So you didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, you can see the real menorah.
Yes, amen.
And Pop saying Zokrul, but still it's better to make a Tanai
Right.
because then
Yeah.
you're putting it out. You shouldn't put it out. It's only Achshash Rochik. This Bach, this to the Bach. No one really holds of him, but still saying
But he's the Bach.
he's a Bach. Shtamish Leute, יש מחמין שואל שהדלת הסתלקים, אין לו שתמיש Leute, משום מראה שלא ידע לחלק בין תרס ומה שאלה כמובן. That even if you're not going to hold like the Bach, but the Rashal says, even if it's after half hour, the poil, no one knows it's within the half hour after. You're sitting with a newspaper and you're using the oida menorah. It's a chutzpah. It doesn't look good. So therefore, you shouldn't be mishtamish. אין צורך לידק שבני בייס מקובוצים יחד, אפילו אוסר ללמוד ושגיע זמנם, וכל שכן אכילה בשאר דברים, אפילו יזכר פויסק, that you're not allowed to eat. And he says, let's look in Yud Gimel Yud Aleph as well on the bottom. It's very interesting. He says, "Acharonim be'emes yesh lahacham ba'oit chatzi shakoydim. Elohu ma'iri b'mnei adam sh'shpalam ha'arvez b'zmanim. Chatzi shakoydim. B'la ve'ochos mishum klishma." But be'emes, you a half hour before, just like by other mitzvahs, just like by B'dikas Chometz. Well, if he does, so take for the Lubavitcher, which we don't have might until after says Kechavim. When Shkia is Shkia, right? Huh?
Half an hour before.
Here, the second column, Yudala, Sharatzin.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
So you have to stop doing malacha a half hour before. I feel
According to 4, you can do malacha and
no, 4, a half hour. Now it's a 4:30 basically. Shkia. Half hour before it's 4 o'clock.
But setting up the menorah.
No, that's not Kabbalah. No, you're doing the thing. Talking about B'dikas Chometz, right? It's part of the mitzvah. I feel him quite it's part of the mincha. When you limud needed the ein lahach, the ish lismach hashar apais can say with the zman shel adloko it's safe shkiyat k'bnei shasif. But then he says shetzirich lachash l'tiritz erishin the ein shus elachatz shel hadlik the lekar shus will meet with the rabbanim can tzarich lahafsik. Mekol sheken kan yesh b'sumen nisim gamke. I explained this Sunday, but the kid said. So he's saying usually we say like by mincha, by maidev, other things. If im hischil beheter, if he started malacha beheter, you're allowed to be mafsek. So why don't we say we're saying here? Oh, I don't care. Beheter, not beheter. We have other coolers. You could say your friend should remind you. No coolers here. Why no coolers? Why? What's the ala coolers gangen? They all went out of the window. What happened? Because this mitzvah is a very short mitzvah. It's a mitzvah that's a half-hour mitzvah. Or maybe we're extending it a little bit, a little before, a little after, but it's a very, very short mitzvah. You snooze, you lose. So when did we say that if you started beheter, that you started before Zman Mincha, you started Malacha beheter, you can continue because you have a Mincha later, the 6 hours from Mincha. Might have Zman Kol Halayla. So if you start beheter, it's fine. But here, you snooze, you lose. So you have to stop. So emphasis, it always bothers me. The Sharat Zion bothers me because I see that the oil is not so makbid. I see the oil is not so makbid. I'd mentioned it. I saw in Yeshivas, not in Chabad. Chabad is it? Yeah.
yeah, they start cooking and wanting to let
So,
them.
I think lately more and more people are talking makbid in this. But I would say limud schus because Sunday I said don't lose your job over it. So why? I mean, I wouldn't say chas v'shalom. I mean, I wouldn't say to Yid that don't you lose your job over Shmira Shabbos. I mean, you have to do what even if it's the Rabbanon, you have to do what the Rabbanon said. But there is a shtickle limud schus here. That the limud schus would be like this. What's the whole problem? We're saying that it's a time sensitive mitzvah. A half hour you snooze, you lose. But if you hold like Tosfos, the Tosfos says that idna that we're doing bifnim. So the zman kol halayla. So if you would hold like I mentioned Sunday the shit of the Maggid Mishnah and the Meram Rottenberg that it's really you have 2.5 hours. But be over that you did it a whole night. So nishkeferlach. So it's not a snooze you lose mitzvah. It's a mitzvah that's that I mean the truth is that you can't rely on the Meram Rottenberg because even then Chacham want you to do it in this half hour. So you have to rely on Tosfos. The Tosfos says that Aidna that we do bifnim, so the half hour after the half hour machnish kechiluk. So if you hold that way, then you can be making. But the truth is, even the Ramal, Tosfos says the komo kantoiv lizar gambas manazeh. So it's not. And but the demis is those people that do it b'chaloin have to be nizer more because you're doing it b'chaloin though.
You presume that I'm late.
Right. Elamai, you're going to say that in New York, Tichle Regel Shuk is 12 o'clock at night. So first of all, what's Tichle Regel Min Shuk? And B'chlal, this limud schus is again a limud schus. This thing, the Tichle Regel Shuk is 12 o'clock at night, is a limud schus. We don't see it in the Gemara, we don't see it in the Rishonim, we don't see it in the Acharonim, we don't see it in the Poskim. It's a limud schus. To say that that's the pshat, Bismanenu is different. It's a limud schus, but it's not. Okay.
I have one question.
Yeah.
It should be the last question.
Okay.
I understand those who say that you would light at Seis because that's when people are leaving work and they're on the road. But those that are lighting at Shkia, when people are still at work, what would be the purpose of lighting
That's
at
only
Shkia?
today
No,
because we
even
have street lights
no,
today.
but
In those days,
I'm just reading the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah
those
Berurah
those
said-
days it was not that way.
So the Mishnah Berurah says that purpose of lighting at Seis is because Sha'azam over b'shav v'rob b'beis of Ika or Suminisa. So that's that the purpose of lighting at Seis is that's what people are going.
That opinion holds
okay.
that that's the Zman, that
But, you know,
over and Vishav and Virayim B'Beis.
later in
The other
Mishnah Berurah,
opinion holds that no, that it's earlier.
He doesn't say the benefit, the purpose of lighting a Shkia. So I'm asking, according to those who light a Shkia, what would be the top?
Yeah,
Top
they because they hold that the time when over and Vishavim is earlier.
So it's a machlokas of Mitzias? I mean, I
Yeah,
can look,
it's
I
a
can look
machlokas.
outside when people are coming on the road. To tell me from Plaga Mincha 3:30, most
There's
people
different.
work
There's
3:30.
different. There's the worst traffic. There is.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
the shaila,
But we're not.
the shaila is
Sitting up.
when is
Class by
tichla?
itself,
What's
traffic
tichla
coming up.
regel minashuk? When when the main traffic flow finishes, or the secondary, or the third.
And I can understand the first sheet of the sheet of the first Sheminisa. If there are more people leaving work at say Shkia, then there's more Persiminisa to do it later than earlier.
Probably more in the days before there was street lamps. More people walked home before Tzesek Echad was very pitch dark.
So then it's the opposite. It would be the opposite.
Right, right,
It would be
right.
the reverse.
Today
What do you
people
agree?
start working 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Time
not-
more people start working 6 a.m.
Right,
Well, it was
exactly.
more agricultural.
Right. So exactly.
It's a change.
But when the sun is setting already, they're
Yeah.
wrapping up. Let's turn next page. At least finish the simon. Kol alayl adam udashacha v'broch. And adafkim they base in the oid. Lim yeshainim if that's nebayis are sleeping. Ein levarach aleim elo yadlik below broch. Moili the dula mevarach al bezman pirs anes achinami le didan. Just like they didn't light only bezman pirs anes. Also for us. Turn the page. So this is the stuff from the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah says that if you come home in the middle of the night, you should wake up the family members in order to be able to make the brach.
There's some minutes in the house.
He gets Oshana.
And I-
Makolka, such and lack
And-
of bias.
But
That's what he says.
Is
Hey,
Look outside and see people walking.
With the Shalom bias?
Huh?
This is the
If you
right.
walk out, if you look
If
out,
you see outside people walking, well,
flight is delayed.
It's 11 o'clock.
It's so with pajama
right,
tonight.
I
right.
guess so.
I would say it's a problematic because you have to. I don't know because it's Lepoil. That's what the Mishnah Berurah passes. Lepoil. That's what the Mishnah Berurah passes. Ooh, Choshev Yid. Freilichem, Chanukah. Talking about Pesum and Nissa and the Ness itself. Okay, good.
got a minion tonight.
Yes, we got a minute.
You have to publicize it.
I would say like this: the Balatoy. Just to finish off what we were talking about Sunday, the Tosfos that says that that Bismanenu doesn't matter. We could do it any time. He probably learned that in the Gemara. To me the best. He learned that the Gemara when he said the Ilo Adlik Madlik is that if the Ilo Madlik in the half hour, which is the best time Pesum Manase, yeah, and Lad the Kol Alayla. Why the best the half hour? Because Pesum Manase there's a lot of foot traffic. But if you miss that time, Alayla there's mitzvahs had locket. So if you say Kol Alayla there's mitzvahs, that's Pesum Manase. There's mitzvahs had locket. So, Kol Alayla tzedlokas, you say, so Anan, we do it in the house. So what's the difference? The first half hour or 4 o'clock in the morning is the Zobazach. But that's only if you learn like the Sefer HaMitzvahs that says that even if your Bnei are sleeping. But if you say that, like the Mishnah Berurah Paskins, that your Bnei Bayis have to be up, so I would say then that maybe he learned Azoy. That maybe he learned like the Marshal learned in the Maram Rottenberg, like the Maram with the twist. We said that the Marshal said that the Gemara is like you have to do it a half hour. But if you didn't do the half hour, it took a tzois alayla. And I explained that what's the pshat in the mashal. That Mashal believed in prime time and now in prime time.
It was
Prime
like Marv.
time,
It was like Marv.
no, because it's prime
Marv
time.
is
We
to
do,
call Lila, but we do it till Chatzos.
yeah, because we want to be martyred Odom Aveda, but if you missed it, you do it later too.
So maybe the
Mashal says, no martyr. This is after tzois is done.
Wow.
You're toasted. You can't do it later. So I'd say that the Mashal holds that in the half hour, there's prime time Persum Nisa. And the rest, until Chatzos Alayla, is non-prime time. The most expensive. Oh, that's the way we learned in the Gemara. When there was for Oivrim B'Shavim. So Tosfos said, Lididan, that we are anyway doing it, not for Oivrim B'Shavim, for the Pnei Bayis. So what's the difference, the first half hour or later, but it still has to be for the Bnei Bayis. Again, the Maram learned there's what did the Gemara learned and what's Lididan, which we're doing it al Shulchanai. And so the Maram learned that the half hour is Pesumanis. The rest of the night is no Pesumanis, it's a mitzvah adlaka. So that's the one way. The Sefer Mitzvah said that Lididan that we're lighting in the house. So all night, I don't care if your family's sleeping. Until Alois Shachar you could light. Okay, verstehe, that's like the Maram Rottenberg. But if you learned, not exactly like the Maram Rottenberg, you learned like with a twist, that half hour is the best for Sumanis, and then there's non-prom time. So they say Lididan that we're lighting in the house. So when the family is awake, there's Pesumanisa for the family, not Leibim Mishavim, but for the family. Okay, so you can light. But once they went to sleep, there's no Pesumanisa. So the only thing is to wake up your family. You have to go wake up your family.
Yeah.
You can see the Mishnah Brura, coming
You
home.
don't publicize you woke them in the middle of the night.
You do a pajama party.
Yeah. What does it? You make a pajama, bring out Nash, you make a pajama party. Everyone's going to be happy. They're not going to complain about Gezl China.
You hope.
Wow.
But then you're
That's
never.
it is.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Tonight you wake up the Nebais and make a pajama party. Okay. With Mitzvah Shem, tomorrow night we're learning Gemara. The Ezes Hashem is Baruch will try to also continue a little the Shulchan Aruch tomorrow night if we could, so we could move a little ahead. So yeah, keep it here on the table.
Which one?
We're learning Shabbos, not from base. We're learning the Gemara of Chanukah. Chanukah Gemara. Yes. Shulchan Aruch. This is where we're holding. We're learning the Sefer Shabbos. We ended up. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam v'chassid v'chassid v'nal v'perla ma'atim b'ratzon yezon nafshi b'barakat Hashem.
Yeah, please be done. I have a special request my mother to rush.
Oh yeah? Ah.
Okay.
Okay.